Good morning, everybody. Another wonderful morning, another wonderful Monday morning. Start of a week, and of course, there's tremendous change happening. And that's really, really important because we want to recognize that change is happening most of the time. So, with change, of course, we need it, we want it, and we want it because it's what brings opportunity. The opportunities that present themselves every day and sometimes multiple times a day. They pop up when we least expect them. And why is that? Perhaps it's because we haven't been looking for the opportunity. Perhaps we haven't been in the right way for the opportunity, because opportunities abound. And most often, of course, we miss them because they come dressed in work clothes. And if they're dressed in work clothes, maybe we don't want to go there. But over this last week or two, there's been tremendous changes, especially for those of us who are in business. So with all of that, it can be very frightening. And at first glance, many things look frightening, especially change. And especially happens so often within such a short space of time as what we've seen over the last week or two. The thing about the changes that we've seen over the last week or two is that we all knew that they were coming, but when they arrived, we still got a bit of a surprise. What we need to look at, I think, from a business point of view is, yes, it's change, but what's the opportunity? And in identifying the opportunity, perhaps we want to look at how do we do this rather than see the opportunity as a frightening or surprising thing necessarily, or even as a challenge. Because with challenges, what I've noticed about challenges is they appear as challenges only when we doubt our ability to overcome them. Nothing seems to be a terribly large challenge when we believe that we can achieve whatever it is that's on the other side. It just looks like an opportunity. So perhaps an opportunity or perhaps a challenge is just an opportunity, but somewhat disguised. And perhaps it's disguised because we haven't looked at it close enough. So all these changes that are happening, what can we do? I can tell you a little story about somebody who had a pretty big change week before last. That is that they were planning an event, and this is an event that's been planned for a long time. There's been a lot of energy going into planning this event, making sure that the right staffing was undertaken, that people were being flown in from interstate to make sure that this event happened. So lots of planning, lots of expense, and all of a sudden the event's too big to fall under the radar of the rules made about gathering in numbers. So the event is cancelled. Now, at first glance, that's a horrible thing because all that expense, all that energy, all that effort, apparently it's down the tube. Well, not necessarily, because if we look to our planning, what we discover is that this event was to deliver a particular outcome. So we look at that and we go, okay, how can we achieve that outcome now that the event is not happening? It took about 30 minutes, but we sat down together, myself and the person who owns that particular business that was to run the event, and worked out that we could actually put that online and we could probably achieve the same result. So when you look to what it is that's happening in your business, and let's face it, there's not many days go by when something doesn't pop up to give us a little bit of a surprise. Rather than taking fright at the surprise, let's look at it calmly and see first if it deserves our attention. And if it deserves our attention, let's apply that attention to what is happening right now. One of my favourite sayings is, is. What is really doesn't matter. What matters is how we respond to what is. So let's look really clearly at what is, and then make decisions about how we can deal with what is in order to deliver the outcome that is best given the circumstances. So lots of times, of course, we think that because something has changed, all our choices are taken away. And that's not right. There is always a choice. We always have the opportunity to choose which path we'll take. Sometimes it's a choice between a poor and a poor, but most often we can make the best of any situation, and in making the best of any situation, there tends to be a rule that comes into play, because in making the best of a situation, it seems to open up other opportunities, and gathering all of those opportunities together, making more decisions, seems to lead us to better places. So what do we do about all this change? We recognise that change always happens. It's just that at the moment change is happening a bit more quickly than normal, which means that there's probably lots of opportunities in there. Change always brings opportunities. So look for the opportunities, identify what the situation really is, and then make a choice about how we respond to that opportunity. And in doing so, we'll find that business can keep going, we can deliver services to our customers, and we can get the right result. So Monday morning, huge change happened over the weekend. Everything's different in the landscape when you turn up Monday. It's not necessarily a terrible thing. Look for the opportunities in the changes that have happened around you, and there's every chance that there's tremendous positives hidden away behind the things that look like challenges. So let's go out and have an absolutely great week. Let's make this week the start of something absolutely fantastic, because along with everything else, we're coming to the end of the quarter, and that means that when we get to the end of this quarter, there's a new quarter beginning. Let's start making plans. If they need to change, let's make the changes now to make sure that the next quarter and the quarter after it and the quarter after it continue whatever growth it is that we've got in place at this stage, or make it even better. So go out and have an absolutely great week, and I'll be back on Monday.